Hello out there. Following feedback from the welding community, today I would like to talk a little bit more in detail about the real challenges in pipe welding. So, first statement that has to be made is that the majority of all pipes are still welded manually. So you need an experienced, skilled welder. If you look at a pipeline like this, an overland pipeline, the welder has to carry out weldments in different positions. And as you can imagine, if he is down here under the pipe, he has to do overhead welding, which is really a challenge. Firstly, he has to apply the root pass. Here, no weld failures are allowed, because otherwise you would have to scrap the whole pipe, which you don't do because you would, grind it out and weld it again, which costs real productivity. After the root pass, you have to do the intermediate and then the final passes. Also here, quality extremely critical. Typically, you have a V-groove preparation. That means the welder has to move the electrode, and normally you do manual metal arc welding, has to move this electrode from the left to the right side all the time. Also, very challenging task. So, what can you do here? You can automate. So it means first step is you give the welding torch to an orbital tractor. That means the stress, the weight is relieved from the welder, but also the welding parameters can be controlled by the control of this orbital welder. That means depending on the position, you can change, or the parameters are automatically changed according to the welding position. This, together with the high arc-on time and the high weld speed, really increases productivity. The situation on a typical construction site for pipelines is like this. You have, say, different stations. For instance, on the first station, you do the root pass. You have two of these orbital tractors, working diametrical, doing the first weld. Then you have the next station for the second pass. So normally you have 4 of these stations, each with, say, 2 of the orbital tractors, makes together 8 of these units. And you can imagine that's a very, very high productivity if you go into automation here. What we face today in Europe, but all over the world, rising energy prices. There is more demand for gas or oil transport, and in addition to that, especially in Europe, we want to build a hydrogen gas net. But this means we have a lack of thousands of kilometers of hydrogen gas pipelines. And if you then see that you also have a lack of welders, and especially of skilled pipeline welders, you see there is a huge demand for automation that can be done with these orbital tractors. The demands for the orbital tractors are also quite special. You have to remove it, you have to set it back again, so it has to be lightweight, it has to be done very easily, and of course it has to carry out all the functions that a welder can do. That means you need a weaving function, you need to push forward all the different wire types, and due to the high arc-on time, the torch gets very hot at the front end. This means you need an extremely good cooled welding torch. What's also needed is a positioning band that fits to every different size of the pipes. And this together, positioning band, welding tractor, and the torch, defines a good orbital system. Any questions for the Weld Prof? Please contact me.